This is a short video on how to multiply and divide multi-digit numbers, and it goes with the Unit 0, I'm calling it, Unit 0 Multiplication Division assignment packet. And what we'll be learning here is just a quick review. So the what is how to multiply and divide multi-digit numbers. Why? Well, you need to continue to build your foundation in math. Your foundation is the house. That's what supports the house. So anything you add on as you get older in math, it needs to be supported by the strong foundation. So the strong foundation deals with things like multiplying, and dividing, adding, and subtracting. So there's the why. And then how do we do this? I'll just do a couple examples from your packet. First example, let's do, getting used to this here, let's say 90, looks like 29 times 3. So the how we'll do over here. So let's take a problem, 29 times 3. First of all, these numbers have math names. So the math names for numbers that we multiply to get an answer, in this case a product, the math name is factor, 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 factor. So we can write that down. 29 is a factor. 3 is a factor. And when we multiply them, we say 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Oops, I got to erase that. 9 times 3 is 27. Carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 87. 87 is the product. All right, so there's some math words there. Now, factors can also be called divisors. So we've got divisor is another word for factor. They're one and the same. So if we write divisor, I'm just writing this so you know the math terms. So another thing to think about in math is there's more than one way to solve a problem in math. This is one method. Well, how about another method? Let's do another method. I'm going to get rid of some of this. Let's do 29 times 3, but let's solve it in a different manner. 29 times 3. You can think of the 29, you can say, well, that's really like 20 times 3, right? Which would give me 60. And then we're left with 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27, and we still get the same product of 87. So in math, in summary, you need to know the math terminology, and you also have to understand that there's typically more than one way to get the right answer. One thing we didn't talk about here, when we have you do the division problems, when you're doing your division problems, and I'll do one, there's specific names for each part of a division problem. So I'm looking at your packet, and I'm going to go to the first one I see. We'll do that one as an example. So we'll say 540 divided by 5. Now, in the packet, we have some sort of like grid lines that help keep your work nice and neat. So what we do here, we first of all identify our parts. The divisor is what we're seeing how many of these 5s can go into 540. So the 5 is the divisor. The dividend is 540. That's what we're dividing up into 5 parts. And we haven't found the quotient yet. The quotient will be the answer. And there may or may not be a remainder. So let's do this problem. So we say 5, how many times does 5 go into 5? Well, 5 goes into 5 one time. See how I go directly under it? 5 minus 5 is 0. Bring down the 4. 5 goes into 4 0 times. 5 times 0 is 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. Drop down the 0. It's 40. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40 and 0. So we have no remainder. Remainder, we do not have a remainder. So the quotient to our problem is 108. So in review, the what is how to multiply and divide multi-digit numbers. You need to know the math terminology, and then why we do it is to keep building our skills so we have a strong foundation in math since we're just in 6th grade, and we went through the how. I did a multiplication problem in 2 different ways, and I did one long division without a remainder.